Grand Rising, let's have a chat, shall we? Let's have a little occult chat. This is your host, The Occult View. I'm just going to jump right into what I want to talk about. I'm not going to beat all around the bush. I just want to get to the main topic. I was sitting back and I was thinking about something, just examining the world and the universe and everything that's going on within the universe, the inner verses of other people, which is the inner workings of your quantum, reality. And I was just examining how the world has changed as it pertains to sexuality and sexual expression. And I think I've talked about this before, but i want to I want to touch it again because I've noticed something even more so now than ever before, and that is how sexual, and I'm talking about for both gays and heterosexual people, adults, sexuality has become ritualistic. There's no more organic or authentic um, sexuality. And let me explain what I mean when I say that. Everything is about a ritual. You get what I'm saying? Everything is about a ritual now. At one time, people would get together and they would enjoy each other sexually the way that adults are supposed to. But ever since social media, social media influence, social media manipulation, and when I say social media, I mean across the board. I'm talking about the entertainment industry. I'm talking about the music industry. Ever since they have lost its soul and its real creativity, they have manipulated people, those people who are the sheeple, or the sheep rather, not me, and probably not the people that watch me either, for the most part. They have manipulated most people into this weird type of sexuality where it's not about mutual attraction, it's about ritualism. It's about, sacrificing that person's energy, sacrificing that person's soul. And that's through, prostitution, exploitation, emotional abuse, psychological abuse. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Back in the early 2000s, when I was in my early 20s, when I was young and dumb, and I did not have a good sense of who I was yearning so much for the love and the acceptance of black men. Not so much anymore, you know. Um, but I was yearning for that. And I endured a lot of psychological and emotional abuse from the black man and black men in general. And even within that, at that time, there was still some form of authentic sexuality where people authentically wanted to be with each other. Even then, it was something they're worth, fighting for. But now it's almost as if, when I like I've said previously, when I go through some of these social media sites, and let me just say it that way, when I go through some of these social media sites and I look at some of the requirements and the request that some of these, particularly men, have when it comes to, dating or whatever, they are really, really weird. And I think because of the advent of caricatures like Kevin Samuels and Andrew Tate and Tommy Sotomayor's and other people that have come along throughout the years to influence how men think, black men think, because it's one thing to put men on game on how to conduct themselves. It's another thing to put men on game on how to be motherfucking assholes and how to be dehumanizing, degrading people. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that females cannot be the same thing. I'm not saying that. Of course they can. But I've noticed a shift in the energy of how men enter. I deal with men on an intimate level, so that's why I'm speaking on it. You know, I've noticed a shift in how men interact, especially in this day and time. They have created a society where even sex, even casual sex, is a ritualistic thing. You get what I'm saying? Because back in the day, if a man wanted him some fucking pussy, let me speak in those terms. If a nigga wanted him some pussy, if he wanted him some pussy, he was not worrying about her stomach. He wasn't worrying about how low her titties may sag to the motherfucking ground. He wasn't worried about that. He just wanted him some pussy because those were real motherfucking men. But now, because men have been manipulated so much to think that certain features are feminine and womanly when they're really not. Having a six pack is not feminine. Women should not have six packs and hard stomachs, and I don't give a fuck who gets mad. They have manipulated men into thinking that feminine traits are masculine traits. Or let me say that again. Maybe I'm saying that wrong. They've manipulated men in this day and time to think that women should actually have masculine traits. And see, that's because covertly, a lot of these men are covert homosexuals. A lot of them are covert homosexuals. And they really hate the woman. They really hate women. And they're covert. They try to come under the guise of, oh, I'm trying to put men up on game. No, you're not. You're trying to take women out of the game because you want to be women. You want to replace the woman. See, one thing about, I'm going to say my generation of gay men, we stayed in our lane and we never tried to cross over and try to take out, the woman, because that was just insanity. Because we had good relationships with women no matter what. We weren't trying to replace the woman. But now, when I'm thinking of how sexuality and culture has clashed now in terms of this so-called fake facade of these fake so-called heterosexual men, they're trying to take the woman out. They're trying to dissolve feminine energy and use it for their own purposes. And that is why I say that sexuality has become ritualistic. They tell you, and I've said this before, they tell you who you should be attracted to. They tell you who you should fuck. They tell you who you should not fuck. They bombard men, especially black men, with all these images of what they believe is attractive. That may not even be what black men are attracted to. Black men, have you noticed, black men don't even like big butts anymore. Black men have been manipulated to the point they don't even like sisters with big butts anymore. If you got a big butt and a flat stomach, they're calling you obese and fat. Just like on that show, the Karamo show, there was a segment where this woman was confronting her friend who was trolling her online. This weird looking black guy, probably was gay, probably a man that hates women because he wants, he wants to have a vagina between his legs, you know. But then again, I can't blame men for being jealous. I mean, because who wouldn't want to experience all those orgasms that women have? You know what I mean? So that breeds jealousy. Let's just call it what it is. You're jealous. He was tearing this woman down, and she was a big lady, but she was a tall woman. She had a flat stomach and a big ass, and she was tall. Beautiful, gorgeous, dark-skinned woman. Absolutely gorgeous. And he was tearing her down. And then he opens up his shirt to prove that she's a slob in his mind, and he's not. What man competes with a woman? So they did an update, and his name was Christian. They did an update. He came back and realized that he was wrong and all this other fake bullshit. No, the reason that he came back is because he was getting a lot of backlash online because of how he treated that woman and how he spoke about her, which he should have. He should have gotten the backlash. That's what I'm talking about. Which he should have gotten the backlash. You're a grown man talking about the body of a female, trying to compete with a female. You just can't do that. You can't do that. He claims that he's married, but I don't know what woman could deal with that type of energy. So they tell you who you should fuck, who you should like, and they have really, really made it so difficult for adults to really get into each other because everyone is so distracted by this fake shit that we see on social media. I have a motherfucking question. Let's just say the people got questions. Why the fuck do I keep seeing niggas talk about they want some Harley Quinn? Why do I keep seeing niggas talking about I want to find my Harley Quinn? Harley Quinn is a fictitious character. That is a fictitious character that does not exist. Everywhere I go on social media, you hear these niggas talking about, I'm looking for my Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn ain't looking for you. Then let's not talk about these what do they call them? Passport bros? They're running to these different countries to find women. Then they get down there and realize, nigga, you ain't got enough money. Then you go down there and they take the little bit of money that you got and you end up fucking dead or worse. There have been horror stories connected to these so-called passport bros. Because your mindsets are so fucking superficial. Superficiality is going to get a lot of you niggas fucking killed. Real talk. It's going to get a lot of you killed. And I'm not just talking about straight men. I'm talking about you other gay men too. What happened to sexuality just being about attraction or sexual attraction just being about that? Everything has to be a fucking ritual. Everything has to be about a person trying to tear you down or trying to find the fabric or a microorganism that you can't even see with the naked eye, trying to find every flaw that a person has just so they can tear you down. That is monstrous, that is savage, and that is not even human. I've come to the conclusion, to be honest with you, that a lot of men don't even want sex anymore because they've made it into a ritual whereas sex is only reserved for elitists in Hollywood, and they dictate to us who we should be attracted to, not me. I don't listen to none of them weird motherfuckers. I like what the fuck I like. They don't even like sex anymore. And it is an inhuman trait. It is inhuman to not like or want to enjoy sex. That is a savage, inhuman trait. And I don't give a fuck who don't like what I'm saying. It is inhuman to be sexually inept. And when I go through a lot of these social media profiles, a lot of these men are sexually inept. They have no sex appeal. Sex appeal is passion. They have no excitement to them. They don't want to try different things in the bedroom. They judge people who are practicing different sexual, things with their partner. They judge people about it. Who's two adults now? Two adults. Whose business is it what two adults do in their bedroom? Man and a woman. Let's just say it that way. It's none of my business what a man and a woman does in the bedroom. If they're into fetishes and if they got all types, that's their business. But you have people who try to shame women in particularly. They never shame the man. They shame the woman for participating in certain sexual acts with her partner. It's nobody's business. Adults are supposed to explore sexually with each other, but they've taken that away from us. They've taken that away and they've manipulated the masses of people. That is why a lot of you men are miserable and by yourselves. I look at some of these black men now and I'm like, what type of energy is this? Black men didn't used to act like this. Black men had more passion. Now all you see is I'm looking for my Harley Quinn, excuse me. You gotta be like this. You gotta be like that. Now, they've always had their standards and stuff like that. There's nothing wrong with standards. But they have become robotic. They have become so formal about everything. And black men didn't used to be like that. Black men were more natural and organic. And they're not anymore. They're not organic anymore. They're not natural anymore. When it comes to sex, it's robotic. And then you have people telling you, oh, you can't have this type of sex during this moon. And then when the universe and all, shut the fuck up. I'll fuck whenever I want to. All of these niggas, oh, I'm abstaining because I'm trying to tap into the ninth dimension and all this old bitch ass motherfucking shit. I'm gay and I don't even do all that shit. Yeah, you doing all those motherfucking fake ass fucking rituals and something else is pulling your motherfucking energy. Something else is pulling your fucking spirit because you listen to what they say all the time. Because you're not guided by your own fucking spirit. Sexuality is a natural part of human life. Being sexually attracted to adult humans, no matter what your sexual orientation is, and wanting to explore sexually with other adult humans is normal behavior for adults. But they're trying to make us believe that that is abnormal. Or if a woman is more sexually, let's just say sexually active, she's a whore, she's a slut, she's loose, oh, she's disgusting, she's this. The same thing with Mary Magdalene. You know, a lot of people kept calling, let me get a little biblical. Mary Magdalene was not a prostitute. Mary Magdalene was actually she came from a very wealthy family. She was rich and she was unmarried and she liked the company of men. And during that time, in biblical times, a woman who was not married, they automatically labeled her a prostitute or a woman that was loose. In other words, she was loose with a pussy. She gave it to whoever she wanted to. So they would label a woman like that as a whore, a slut, or prostitute. Even if she had one boyfriend, they would still say, well, she's not married. She's a whore, a slut, or prostitute. You see what I'm talking about? So this even has its roots in biblical scholarship or biblical history. How sexuality, if you can control a person's sexual energy, you can control them. You can control their creativity. A lot of people are talking about how the birth rates are declining in the black community. Well, that's because the black community is up under the control of elitism. They talk about the birth rates declining. That's because primarily a lot of these men, they don't want to fuck anymore. And then on top of that, because of all of the, let's just say, all of the interesting mixing that a lot of black men have done, it has really damaged your ability to reproduce. It has made you sterile in so many words. And then let's not forget, let's take into account the drugs, the fake weed that you smoke now, the alcoholism. Because when you have sex, that releases certain energies within you. And I think what do they call it? It's a certain chemical that's released when you have sex. Sex relaxes you. Sex brings about certain states of consciousness to bring you into a meditative state. But you've lost that too, because you're looking for Harley Quinn, a violent, savage character from a Batman movie. The next thing you know, these niggas gonna be talking about they looking for the Joker to fuck. The next thing you know, they're gonna be talking about, oh, I want to fuck Alfred, Batman's butler too. Where's my Alfred at? That's the next thing they're gonna be saying. They have really put a cap on sexuality and sexual passion, especially on black people. There's so much of a disconnect now because there's too much judgment attached to it. And they got dumbass niggas that are promoting this, who are probably closeted, undercover, covert homosexuals who are really jealous of women telling men, oh, don't fuck her. Don't fuck her. Nah, don't fuck her. Why are you mad? Because you want him to fuck you and he not into man pussy? He not into boy pussy or asshole? So you're mad, you're gonna try to tell him not to go after certain women? It's nothing worse than a hating ass, bitch ass motherfucking man. It's nothing worse than that. Nothing worse than that at all. Anyway, this is just a short video. This was on my mind about how sexuality and sexual passion has been really, really, really fucked up and damaged. It's become more of a ritualistic type of thing and controlled. They don't want people to be sexually attracted. They don't want adults to be sexually attracted to each other anymore. They don't want that. They want to reserve that for other people. They sit back and they look at your average person and they steal energy from us. And I'm talking about these elitists. They steal energy from us. Sex is just a ritual now, it seems like. Like I said, when I go through social media, I just look at these dead profiles. I look at these dead motherfucking so-called people and their requests and the things that they're asking for and demanding in relationships. You got to be this. You got to be that. I saw one motherfucker, and these are mostly white men, talking about, oh, you got to love dogs. Huh? You got to love dogs in order to talk to you? But what if the person loves cats? Or This one really cracks me up. You gotta love me and make me feel good. I was watching, somebody sent me this clip of a Fresh and Fit episode where these two young black women were having a conversation with the Fresh and Fit men, I guess you can call them that. And they were getting into a very heated debate about what type of woman men want. And the dude was saying that men will date a woman who's basically on a lower income bracket than he is because men don't worry about women's money. The girl was saying, well, that's on y'all if y'all do that, or whatever the case may be. So anyway, they got into a big argument about it, and ultimately it ended the show. It was an old clip. But what I found interesting about that was this. The man was saying that men will marry a woman or get with a woman that does not have as much as he does, or who could be poor, because men don't go after women based upon money. They don't go after women based upon the woman's money. And I would love to ask them, what fucking planet do you live on? Because in the 21st century, men go after women for money too. It's not like it was back in the day. Now, it might have been that way at one time, that men wanted women no matter what their financial status was. But that motherfucker is not being genuine on that Fresh and Fit podcast. He's not being genuine. He knows motherfucking well that men are, because basically he was trying to say, if I'm not, maybe I'm misinterpreting it. Maybe he wasn't trying to say that, but if he's implying that men don't have a standard when it comes to a woman's finances, he's telling a motherfucking lie, or he is really not as connected and in the know about how culture is now. Because I see the shit that men say in social media a lot. And men are asking women to have money as well. So what is he talking about? Because I was going to say that men are gold diggers too. Men are gold diggers too. But men try to be slick with their motherfucking shit a lot of times. What they'll do is they will put up an appearance like they have money or like they have something. And then when the woman gets with them, or when they get with the woman finds out this nigga don't even got a car. This nigga ain't working as no fucking engineer. Everybody on social media is an engineer. Every dude's profile that I see, he's an engineer. And all these motherfucking engineers, right? Or if they're not an engineer, they're an entrepreneur. All of these motherfucking niggas are entrepreneurs, but they don't drive. They can't get a lift. They can't afford an Uber. They can't even afford to replace their motherfucking tennis shoes. They all living in fucking apartments. Nothing wrong with living in an apartment, but I'm just saying. But all of these motherfuckers are engineers. All of them are engineers now. And I'm talking about the white ones too. Not just the black ones. Them too. And then come to find out he's a cook at McDonald's. So let's be real. Let's be real. Men in this day and time, they do care if a woman has money and have her own money, because truth be told, in this day and time, women are actually doing better than a lot of us. Women have always done better than men in a sense, because women go to school more than we do, and they have their shit together more than we do. And those are just facts. Those are just facts. And people don't like them. So when he said that men don't care about a woman's financial status, basically, that's not true, bro. That's not fucking true. The men in this day and time, they do care because most of them don't have shit anyway. Most of them don't even have the bare minimum. They 50 plus fucking years old still living with their fucking mother. They 50 plus fucking years old still working at motherfucking McDonald's or working jobs that you're supposed to work when you're a teenager. Let's be motherfucking real. And he expects us to believe that in this day and time, I'm not talking about yesteryear, I'm not talking about back in the day. In this day and time, he expects us to believe on that Fresh and Fit podcast that men don't care about a woman's financial status. That's bullshit. That's another lie and fallacy. And let's be clear, those two young women that were on that show, they were inappropriate to be on there for that conversation anyway. He purposely chose those two young women because they were kind of ghetto and ratchet. He purposely chose them just so he could trigger them and cause that outburst. That's what they do. They understand aspects of the occult, and they probably listen to motherfucking niggas on YouTube who tell them to go and get this book and go and get that book, and they psychologically analyze different people using these books, and they know certain trigger points. See, I know what they're doing. They're using aspects of the occult on the lower side of it. Basically practical shit. They purposely brought those two young women onto that show. They knew they were kind of ghetto and ratchet, and they wanted to embarrass them in front of those white women and those other women that were sitting up there. So they can go back and say, see, I told you black women were this way. And it was actually the one that I don't believe he's black. I think he's Middle Eastern. It wasn't the black dude. She got into it with the Middle Eastern dude. And you know, Middle Eastern men, they got some real interesting motherfucking energy. They holler Allah and all that old other bullshit, but then they trying to get up in my boy pussy all the fucking time. Now what's going on with that? Sorry to be vulgar, but I'm just being motherfucking truthful. Anyway, that's all I have to say for now. I just wanted to come through and speak my little piece on that. And that's about it.